Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Hypnotic Pattern.
Whoa, I've been hypnotized by your hypnotic pattern, Bob. I think it reflected off your forehead. Sorry, we just did vicious mockery, and I feel like I have to throw gut punches right now.
No, you're fine.
This is a third level cast time of an action spell for bards, sorcerers, warlock, wizards, moon domain. Both of redemption and armor. I guess that's from the Tal'Dorei campaign setting. Anyway, this has a cast time of an action, range of 120 feet. Several material components means you can do this silently. Concentration, a minute. You create a twisting pattern of colors that weave through the air inside a 30-foot cube within range. The pattern appears for a moment and vanishes. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern makes a saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is charmed for the duration. While charmed by the spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0. The spell ends for an affected creature if it takes any damage, or if someone else uses an action to shake the creature out of its stupor. What's your initial take?
Well, it's a 30-foot cube with, I'm seeing no limit to the number of targets. That's always a good thing for me.
Yeah. I think I underrate the spell pretty regularly. It's when I read the word incapacitated, I go, oh, this has to be really good. And it affects so many things.
It can.
You can just set this down, and if you can concentrate on it, you can just take out 4 enemies in a single fight with relative ease. Just be like, don't touch them, kill their friends, and then we can release them from their thing. Because this really is like a save or die. There's no subsequent saves.
Or force their friends to waste actions by shaking them out of it.
Yeah. They're going to have a hard time getting there, though, hypothetically, if you can just pile on them, right? Just be like, oh, there's only 6 of you, great. 4 of you are incapacitated. Dog pile. Get them. Don't even let them have the option to shake people out of the stupor.
But yeah, that's another thing, though. Save or dies that affect multiple targets, I always am a fan of. That it's not really a save or die. It's some of them will save, some of them hopefully won't.
Yes, you will feel a lot less bad using this, especially than if you were to compare to a hold person or hideous laughter. Right. When that misses, you're like, well, there goes my turn. I did jack. With this, you're like, okay, probably at least one of them will be incapacitated. That is something. That is denying some actions, which is very powerful. It's not the most complicated thing in the world, but there is some nuance to strategy with it. You do want to make sure you're hitting as many creatures as possible, obviously, but also that those creatures aren't necessarily close to other creatures that can easily end it. And you're going to want to have circumstances where initiative order is going to matter a lot, because if you go first, you use this, then an enemy goes, they can shake an ally out. If an ally goes next, they can hypothetically get onto that enemy and make that a bigger problem. And suddenly the play pattern where your enemies can shake them out of their stupor is a lot harder to reach, and you do really want them to not be able to take that action. But like you said anyway, even if they do take that action, they're wasting turns, and that still seems pretty good to me.
Ideally you can get to them first and keep them out of the combat for longer. But I like that you're always getting something.
Yes.
Usually. Almost always.
I think best case scenario, your average case scenario, if you can't even interrupt them, if this shuts down a full group of creatures' actions for just one turn, it's worth the slot. If you're hitting 4 things, denying them all turns to get rid of the hypnotic pattern, especially as a bard, you're thrilled with that, because that means your entire rest of your team just gets to lay into them for free for the whole round. That's excellent. That's so good. That's a free turn for your entire team for 1/3 level spell slot. That's disgusting.
A little question here, though. They become charmed, which is a condition.
Sure is.
Yes. And in addition, incapacitated, which is a different condition.
Yes.
So, what? All right, and I got a pretty good understanding of what incapacitated does, but charmed, how's that? What is that doing for us?
You get advantage on any ability checks to interact socially with the creature.
Which is not happening.
No, certainly not.
Okay.
There could be weird moments where you opt to use Hypnotic Pattern plus a performance as an out of combat utility thing, right? Where you're the bard up on stage, you Hypnotic Pattern in the room so your allies can just walk through without any issues. You can escort maybe someone that's wanted for a crime they didn't commit through a crowded police station with a Hypnotic Pattern, and you advantage on all the checks to be like, hey, everything's cool and kosher here, nobody look around, everyone's fixated on me, and they just stare dumbfounded at you, and you've advantage on all the charisma checks that are involved with that event. So that's kind of cute. But yeah, what's doing most of the heavy lifting is incapacitated, because that just says a
what
creature can't take
about,
actions or reactions.
What about like using it as an expensive mass charm person, where like you value out of combat, of course, you just charm a group of people, or you hypnotic pattern a group of people. I mean, they're incapacitated, but
That's a
they
big
can
problem.
still talk and stuff, right?
That's a great question. So rules as written, I believe the answer is yes, because all this stops them from doing is taking actions or reactions. So they can still move, they can still interact with objects as part of that movement. So hypothetically, this is a thing that you could do to them. Oh, never. I'm sorry, they can't move. Their speed is literally set to 0. That's another part of the text. They can't even move. So again, I think like it's not intended to. I would guess that the intention of the spell, this rules is intended, is that they don't speak or do anything. They just stare fixated like in the hypnotic state, right?
Right.
Mechanically, maybe you could convince your DM to say, well, it doesn't say they can't talk, so could I, converse with them?
Yeah.
Maybe. It might be like, the pendulum hypnosis kind of deal where your objective is try and get them to say some dumb things using the charm condition, and you could do that to an area.
Or useful things.
Yeah, sure. That could be useful. That could be interesting.
I don't think that's what clinical hypnotist. I want you to quack like a duck.
I mean, that's still how the performative version of it looks.
Yeah.
And I'm all here for that. It requires a glowing stick of incense or a crystal vial filled with phosphorescent material. Okay. I very much get Hypnotoad vibes from this, from Futurama. So, that's normally my go-to spell effects is the deep guttural groan that the Hypnotoad makes. That's where I like to start with it, obviously. I think there could be some cute out-of-combat applications, but I think most of the time this could just be an AoE stun kind of effect, and that's really good. So
yeah, I was trying to look for other things, but no, for what it's actually supposed to be used for. Yeah, it's good.
I'm genuinely surprised that this spell doesn't have like the rider that a lot of the charms do, where creatures you're already fighting have advantage on the save. It's really good that it doesn't, and it definitely sets bards up, and it's also for warlocks and sorcerers and wizards. It sets them up with a big splashy 3rd level spell that kind of matches Fireball in this is a big explosive game, new level worth of expensive powerful features that 2nd level spells can't really do. It sets that up for classes that don't get Fireball, and that's pretty meaningful.
It also doesn't have the rider that they know they've been hypnotized, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I have a hunch they'll figure it
out.
Yeah. Good spells are good. I don't know. Yeah. These ones are more boring to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, you got a rating for it?
I'm going to go with 4. I think this is very, your DM has to consider this whenever it's taken to the table. It might honestly deserve better than that, but, it's still a Saber Die area. It still has some problems where, it's not going to be a great Saber Die against single big threats that have allies, smaller minions near them, because the one action's worth a lot more than the fewer smaller actions, so being able to, that's not really a one-for-one trade anymore. But against moderate-sized groups of similarly powered things, it's excellent. It's very, very good.
It's also a 3rd level spell, which is kind of costly.
It's concentration too, so you can't have other things going around with this.
So 4 sounds about right. It is a pretty amazing spell, but it comes at a price.
It does.
Man, I can't believe that's all we had to say. But here we are.
Giant AoE stun. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I guess giant incapacitated charm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. That was Hypnotic Pattern. Let us know what you think of the spell and our opinions of the spell down in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.